And viewers, let's now put the focus on what's happening as far as the Middle East tensions are concerned, because amid the uncertainty over a second round of US-Iran talks, Donald Trump has now struck a confident note, saying that the war could actually end quite soon and that America will emerge victorious. At the same time, Donald Trump also appeared to rule out direct negotiations, saying that if Iran wants talks, then it can simply pick up the phone. So Donald Trump making it look like it is Iran that is not ready for the negotiations at the moment, even though just hours earlier, it was Donald Trump who had cancelled the visit of the American negotiators to Pakistan. Now Donald Trump says that if the Americans, or rather if the Iranians want to deal, all they need to do is just pick up the phone and have a conversation with the Americans. More breaking news coming in, because amid the escalating tensions, Donald Trump has now issued a fresh warning to Iran, suggesting that Tehran only has a limited window to act. Donald Trump has threatened severe consequences for Iran's oil infrastructure if the demands are not met, while also mocking the country's leadership as very strange and difficult to engage with. The remarks signal a sharp escalation in the rhetoric, even as uncertainty continues over any diplomatic breakthrough. Consulting editor Shinjoy Chaudhary is joining us on the broadcast to give us more details. Shinjoy, what do we make of this, considering we saw how the talks, the second round of talks, were expected to happen and then it did not? Now, once again, Donald Trump is saying that all Iran needs to do is pick up the phone and have talks with the U.S.
Yes, a lot is being said by both sides, but it's also important to see what they actually do, because President Trump has spoken about bombing Iran into the Stone Age, and he said this earlier. Now he says that in 72 hours, Iran could well be bombed into the Stone Age, and this relates particularly to what is left, that is its oil infrastructure. Now, what happens in these 72 hours remains to be seen, because this is a very crucial period. Now that the talks haven't happened, President Trump also knows that if he begins bombing the Iranian oil infrastructure, the Iranians could well be doing something similar to the Gulf states, particularly its oil wells, its refineries, and also its desalination plants. So if that happens, it will lead to darkness all around.
Right, absolutely, which is why it is also a cause for concern if the United States actually does up the ante, especially as far as the military offensive is concerned. But stay on with us, Shinjoy, because we're getting in more breaking news at this point. Iran's political circles have now raised sharp questions over Pakistan's role as a mediator, with an Iranian MP, Mohsin Rezai, taking a swipe at Islamabad's credibility. He suggested that Pakistan may actually not even be a suitable broker at all, alleging that it largely aligns with the United States' interests. The remark now even comes as Pakistan continues to position itself as a facilitator in the ongoing US-Iran diplomatic efforts. So questions are now being raised over the role of Pakistan as the mediator between the United States and Iran. With that, in fact, more breaking news coming in, because Iran's Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi has met Pakistan's Army Chief Asim Munir in Islamabad after returning from Oman. The meeting comes as Pakistan steps up efforts to keep the US-Iran peace talks on track, despite reports that Donald Trump has called off his envoy's planned visit. So Shinjoy, coming back to you on this, because it's getting quite clear that Pakistan is actually struggling to get the two sides to talk to each other, and at the same time now even Iranian voices raising questions over Pakistan's credibility and Pakistan's role as a mediator between the two countries.
Yes, apart from the fact that it's a difficult job, it's an immensely difficult job, because both sides have declared war, which is rare. Two sides fight a war for 40 days, and then both sides say that they have won. Now, to begin with, they have set different agendas for themselves, and as a result, there is very little meeting place. That's difficult enough. And then you have President Trump, who has invited the Pakistani General Asim Munir to the White House for lunch. And then, of course, there is talk about Pakistan nominating President Trump for the Nobel Prize in Peace. There is a lot of that as well. And the fact that the talks in Islamabad are going on because maybe there was a call from Washington. So all of this has led a section of the Iranian establishment to suggest that this was all something America and Pakistan are working towards.
Right, absolutely. So Pakistan's role as a mediator also now being questioned. And of course, we also saw just days earlier how one of the Pakistani ministers, Khwaja Asif, had also, taken an attack at Israel at a time when the negotiations were set to take place between Iran and the United States, where Israel also is a stakeholder. Thank you, Shinjoy, for joining us on the broadcast and giving us those details.